Been through it all, but we up. We done been through it all, but we here, man.
Welcome to Touchy Topics. This is a very, very touchy and sensitive topic. Me and you have been trying to schedule this for quite some time, and
For real, almost all this year.
yeah,
Since
and
February?
for real,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And since us trying to schedule this, some craziness has transpired. So we can't even go to what we originally wanted to talk about first. We got to start with this craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's start with this craziness. Let me move this out of the way real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So what's been going on? 'Cause originally, because we just kind of like talking. I'm sorry. We were actually supposed to have a conversation concerning your son who was murdered
Mm-hmm.
and the whole insurance, not having insurance. You know what I mean? The importance of insurance. So we want to actually talk about that because you yourself are an insurance agent. Congratulations.
Yay, officially.
So, we want to just talk about the importance of having insurance, especially in our community, is something in which a lot of us don't have.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody passes away, we got to do the whole GoFundMe. We got to do the fish fries. We got to do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Instead of being prepared.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to start with the foolishness that transpired that actually made the news, which
Right.
I'm gonna let you tell what actually transpired. What happened?
Well, so there have been some events already going on that I never really spoke on or said anything to any of my family. However, it was all revealed to me because someone shot up my son's grave site at the cemetery. He shot up his grave first, and then I called for law enforcement. And then on his birthday, they mocked him on his birthday, took his headstone and stole it, and had a birthday party. Just foolishness, something you would have never even ever thought of. Because when they at the cemetery, you expect for them to be sleeping in peace, resting in peace. They're laid to rest. And never have I ever thought that someone would actually try to go out there and do some harm to anybody that's deceased. And my son was innocent. He's innocent. He ain't bother nobody.
Yeah.
So I got very disturbed by, just hearing that it was shot up. And then the same day later on that night after midnight, they took his grave as well, his tombstone. So that's basically what's been going on. And it did make the news because it was definitely something that was major, something, like serious. And the difference is, these kids are getting away with too much nonsense. It's kids. I'm an adult. So that's the reason why it made it to the news, because it was time. It was time to get the word out, and I wanted my son's tombstone back as well, because there's no way y'all gonna keep it and party with it and disrespect the dead or disrespect Cornelius.
Okay, so how did you first hear about that your son's tombstone,
Mm-hmm.
something that weighs at least 100 pounds, if not more, was removed? Like, how did you catch wind of that?
I was asleep and start receiving phone calls. I would say by 12:30 or after 12:30, I started receiving several phone calls, and then eventually I answered. And it was one of my nieces who actually called me, and she was like disturbed as well, crying, saying, "Oh my God, Auntie, go live. The boy has Carnelius. They stole Carnelius' tombstone." And I was like so confused.
Wait, hold
because
on. Go live. So they actually went live.
Yeah, so this individual went live on social media. I guess on the gram, he went live and he had my son tombstone with him. So it alerted everybody. Everybody just started reaching out to me.
So he literally went live, showing his face not covered up. So he actually literally saying, like, taking responsibility.
Yeah, he pretty much, he went live for the whole world.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. You feel me? You feel me? I go find Kevin and dig his ass up too. Kevin got hit too many times. We'll dig his ass up too. This poor ass probably ain't got no one either. Feel me? Hey, look, I'm finna go ahead. Good shit. Oh my God. Sleep on that dead ass boy. This on that. This not bad. This not cheap. Hey, shit, go get real. You feel me?
to see him with my son, headstone.
Wow.
And what have Cornelius done to him? You know,
Yeah.
he's dead. Like, seriously. Never would have ever, thought of anything like this happening.
Okay, so we have to kind of like go back because your son has been passed away he transitioned 5 years ago.
No, it'll be 5 years this year, October 23rd.
October the 23rd would make it 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of go back to we can't talk about certain things because certain things are still under investigation, of course.
Right.
But your son played football, right?
Right.
So your son played.
Yes.
So Cornelius played football.
Mm-hmm.
He was home. Was he home for the summer or home for a break?
Well, yeah, he came home due to an emergency because he was expecting. His girlfriend at the time was expecting my grandbabies, twins, and he had an emergency, so he came home, due to the babies.
Okay, so he came home for a life-changing moment, supposed to be one of the happiest moments in your life.
Right.
His kids being born, and in the event of him actually coming home, he didn't actually make it to see his kids being born.
Mm-mm. Nope.
So, I don't even.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's definitely a lot. So.
Okay, so let's go back to that. When you received that phone call, because that had to be the worst phone call you ever received in your life. Like what was that moment like for you? Did they tell you that he had transitioned?
No.
Or what was the call? Do you remember who called you and what was the call was like?
And so my sister called me,
Mm-hmm.
and when she called me, she basically just said that something happened to Cornelius and that I needed to get to the hospital. I'm like, what do you mean something happened to him? Because I had just talked to him maybe around 9, something that night.
Mm-hmm.
So I started receiving a lot more phone calls because I would just immediately get jumped up and start trying to get dressed. I'm getting phone calls, and that alarmed me that something was really
you in
going
panic
on.
mode because you just received a phone call that just say, hey, you need to rush to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
No explanation, no nothing. You just need to get to the hospital because something serious is going on.
And I didn't know what to think because I would have never just thought Cornelius. I wasn't prepared for, I didn't see nothing like this happening or coming, but immediately I responded. I jumped and started trying to take off so I can. Then as many of the phone calls kept coming in, I knew that it had to be really something bad going on. And at the time I couldn't drive. So I was waiting for, someone to give me a ride and take me. So I was in so much panic mode that I think I took off running down the road myself, and nothing was stopping me because I was trying to get to the hospital because I kept receiving phone calls, and I got a disturbing call with someone screaming and hollering, and I didn't understand what she was saying. That was from my cousin. So I hung up on her, and that's when I took off running. Like, wait, I was just trying to get to the hospital. So, just.
So when you get to the hospital, were the doctors communicating with you? Did you have other family members that was there? Do you remember?
Yeah, I can still remember just a little bit, but I know it was a whole lot of people there. People was all outside, and I was not told that he had passed away, but people was everywhere, like family and friends just everywhere at the hospital. So I never made it inside because from the driveway, the parking lot at the hospital, and me seeing all these people, it freaked me out, like, really. So
did that give you kind of like an idea that this was
the worst? It was a nightmare, and I didn't know if I was dreaming. I knew something was wrong. But eventually, once I made it to the emergency side, Carnelius' grandmother on his dad's side, she was able to confirm and tell me that Carnelius had passed away. And I didn't want to believe her. I was like, that is a lie. But yeah, from there was the worst of it all.
Okay, so now we have to even go even deeper because unfortunately you and your mother have both experienced the loss of a child.
Yes, my mom as well, my baby brother.
So can you kind of take us back to that, because I'm not trying to compare the two, but do you think you were actually healed from the loss of your brother, and now you're dealing with the loss of a son?
Yes, I would say because it was 6 years when my son, after my brother, that my son was murdered. So I was just getting to a better place, like just mentally, I was just kind of doing a lot better. And then this happened. So it's like been a roller coaster.
So it's like almost like kind of like deja vu, as they would say.
Yeah. But this time it was, I love my brother and I love my son, but this, I don't know if it's just because, okay, like this is my child. It affected me a lot worse.
In what ways?
Just mentally, just not being able to function and just be able to understand it, but just mentally. I went through some changes and I'm better now. I'm good. And I'm trying to just get even better. However, just a lot, just, not being able to, it's a new life for me. This is a new life. Yeah. So I had to learn how to, just take on to this new life. It's definitely something different.
So when you say take on to this new life, you mean from the standpoint of not being able to call, receive text messages from your son?
My son, I spoke with him every day. He's going to call his mama every day. He's going to call me.
You made that man a mama's boy.
Hey, he loved me, yes. Yeah. I ain't make him a mama's boy, but, he was very overprotected by his mom, but he going to call me. He going to call me about every little thing. If he got a bump in his face, look at this, what I need to put on here. Whatever, any little thing. He might call me to show me off he got a haircut, an edge, a trim. But that's the relationship we had. He always, he's gonna check on me. And that's what, in the beginning it was just, and even like now, even more time has went by, I still just, it's like that. That's that feeling that it hurts because I want to see him. I want to hear him. I want to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely been a rocky process.
So you know how people like to say time heals all. Do you feel like that's the truth or that's a lie?
I kind of at this point feel like, because at first as time was going by over the last few years, I've been like, okay, I'm getting better. But now I'm a mess.
Because
I'm always,
what happened with
not what just happened to his headstone. All this year, just like I've been emotional.
Okay.
I've been very just like, even like last year. Because, and then just trying to move and just move away and move forward and things like that. I started being very emotional. I was very emotional moving because I had relocated. I moved to Georgia. And let me tell you, that hurted me so bad. On my rides to Georgia, just
the distance when you're taking that ride, you know what I mean? That's when all the thoughts and everything could come back into your mind. I felt like I was
leaving him. And it was just like, I was emotional up there, and so more time going by, I feel that I'm getting more. I don't know. It's going to be 5 years. So at one point, maybe, 3 years, I was feeling like, okay, I'm better. Okay. I'm feeling better. I look back and I was like, wow, you're doing better. You're doing good, things like that. But now when I realized that it's going to be 5 years, it just gave me this ill feeling like, just start, it hurts.
Because some people, when they're going through something, they like to be by themselves. Some people, when they're going through things, they like to be around people. Do you feel like being in Georgia and being in that solitude of you, being by yourself and not having family or other people around, do you think that did you a disservice?
No, because I'm like that. I think I like being to myself a lot. Okay. Yeah, I be to myself. Okay. So I just felt that the distance and, I don't know if people believe in it or like it, but me just experiencing the loss of my son, I really wish I would have cremated him because I would be able to take him with me wherever I go. Okay. No matter where I'm at, he can always be there no matter where. I feel his presence and things just, and just spiritually, but I really, really suffer from burying my child.
I'm trying to be very, very sensitive with some of the questions that I'm asking, because a lot of times when we hear the word killed or murdered, we tend to think that the person was doing something wrong, or they were negative in what happened to them.
Right.
But we don't think a lot of times that this person may have been an innocent bystander. Kind of like when you hear the school shootings or people get shot in church and things of that nature. We want to have to say that, man, this person was doing something wrong. So can you give can you tell people who Cornelius was?
Yes. Cornelius was a really awesome kid. He was good to me. I'm very honored to be his mom. Even though he's not here, I can still speak on it. But he was very smart.
Mm-hmm.
He was very just like, he liked it to, just as a little kid, he was very smart. He loved football. He had a passion for football. From the age of maybe 2, he's been playing football. Now, when I say he's smart, I'm going to just go back to he was the type of kid where he's going to have his homework done, and I'm checking it. His homework is done. Elementary, middle, he's high school, he's doing his work. And because he wasn't allowed to go outside until he finished as a little kid with his homework. So he's going to make sure sometimes, because he want to go outside and play, he will do his homework on the school bus. I'm like, how you did your homework already? I did it on the bus. And, you have to show these kids. So let me see it. I'm going to check it. So I check it. It's done. And his grades was, he was very smart. He was in advanced classes. Like for FCAT, 5 is like the highest. He always scored 5s. Anytime he took FCAT, he always scored 5s. Even when he took his, the ACT and the SAT, he scored one of the highest score. Which one is the hardest? Is the ACT harder than SAT?
Don't make me, because I'm a reading person. So the ACT was good for me. Now the SAT I think is more math. I'm math now, but back then I'm more reading. So
well, this is what let me tell you. He did ACT. He passed the ACT. When he took the SAT, he didn't pass it. But when it was time, he took the ACT.
Mm-hmm.
The passing score, I'm thinking is 1,600, but he scored a 2,100. Yeah, he's always been very smart. He was in advanced classes from elementary, middle, and high school. He started wanting to be more with his family or just friends and stuff.
Mm.
So he started making up issues and stuff. Why am I the only black person in my class? He come home and he just want to make me feel like, so he started just, I don't know.
So basically
he didn't know that he was in the advanced classes for a long time. I didn't never just, tell him that. I kept it like, okay, he's doing good. If he would have been struggling, then I would have, tried to take him out of those classes. So I never really just told him that he had advanced classes. But when he got in high school, for some reason, he found out.
Yeah.
Probably by the 10th grade, he knew it.
You see, you were supposed to
tell him. And he didn't want to be in those classes because he was like,
you ain't normal.
He want his class, he want his work to be easy like everybody else. I say, you're too smart. You can't have easy work. You have to, so that's one thing I admired about him. He was such a good big brother, even with his brothers. He helped me a lot with them, just being able not to just his brother, but even Carnelius loved football so much that he would go around the neighborhood and recruit other kids so that they can come play football with him with Papa Warner. Mm-hmm. And he would do it for the little kids as well. He'll be out there playing football with those kids, like training them and stuff. That he loves sports, and he was very respectful. He was very humble. I could say he was everything across the board that, he was a good kid. Yeah. He did everything I wanted him to do. I was the type of parent where, if I'm working and when I get home from work, if you want me to cook, my kitchen got to be clean. Yeah. Now he gonna make sure the kitchen clean so he can eat. Yeah. Because I'm not gonna come home and, so yeah, that was something that I used to love. Like, he gonna make sure the kitchen clean so mama can just come on inside and cook. And then not only that, he's just, he always wanted to make me proud. He would always do things and bring me things and buy me things and stuff like that. Like he always, and Cornelius just, to me, with him, just being no longer here, a lot of his things, I still have them. Almost everything. Yeah. That I was able to keep, I have it. Like, I have so much stuff. It's trophies and clothes and shoes, but he was an awesome kid. Anything I wanted him to do, he did it. He went to school. He graduated high school. He graduated. He also went to college. He had a very bright future. I knew he was going to be, a good man, no matter what, he was going to really put his mind to, because he had the potential. He had it in him. You know what I'm saying? He had what it takes. But, if I had to pull it out of him, because that's how I was always, motivating him and encouraging him, pushing him. When football season was over, find something else to do. Because my thing was to keep them active, in sports. This way they don't have to be outside in the streets and stuff. So I was at every football game, every football practice. It took a lot, but it's over with right now because my boys are grown. But I miss it. I got nephews and stuff now that I'm gonna be able to start supporting. But I'm a boy mom. So it was sometimes that, I may have to jack him up, and he was so funny because he the type of kid where if I have to jack him up or we have an argument, and it just used to irk me. Mom, sorry, I love you. He gonna apologize. He gonna come back, or he gonna text me, or he gonna call me and say, I'm so sorry, Mom, please forgive me, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We can have and it used to be weird. How you come back and say something to me 10 minutes later, and I just went off on you. I just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He ain't never want me to be mad at him. I don't know who told him, don't never let your mom be mad at you. But he was the type of child that if he know I'm mad at him, he gonna he gonna talk about it. He gonna try to explain it to me. And he ain't really hide too much of nothing from me. So he tell me, we laugh and talk about a lot of stuff. He gonna come, guess what? This happened. We laugh and talk about a lot of stuff. But my other two kids, to me, all of them was raised the same, in the church. Carnelius loved church. You know that. This boy loves church. All my kids love church. I used to have them kids in church. My mama had them in church. He gonna sit on the front row. He used to love to watch Tony beat the drums.
Yeah.
We bought him drums. My mom bought him some drums. At first he was at my house. I said, nope. Take them drums back to your house because he gonna beat his drums. He used to love to beat drums in the church. He loved church, mind dancing. When Tony and Chris and Eddie Mac used to be doing that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He would come home, he gonna try to mind. He loves stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty much he was what I would call that nerd that lived in the hood. You know what I mean? That's me. I was a nerd that come from the hood.
But he really just lived in the hood because he for some reason he loved Lake Jewel because that's my grandparents. Yeah. My grandparents, he was maybe 10 when they passed away, but he was there. My grandmother used to, my grandma and granddaddy would get him off the school bus because I'm at work, and then when I get off work, I pick him up and stuff like that. But he loved Lake Jewel. He did.
Okay, so kind of, I wanted to give that background because, like I said, a lot of times, when we hear of something tragic, usually when somebody, we hear somebody young pass away, we wanted to be a car accident, somebody got sick, you know what I mean, things of that nature. But, when you're dealing with murder, that just hit home differently. When you hear murder, typically you think of, kids that's running around or the young man or woman that's really heavy in the streets, doing things that cause them, you know what I mean, to get murdered. But like you say, he was actually in college. He was home, you know what I mean,
for 10 days.
Yeah.
He was only home for 10 days and that happened. When that happened to him.
Well, let's kind of like touch on the aspect of
him being innocent.
Let's touch on the aspect of you literally being out of your mind, but then receiving word that you didn't have insurance to actually bury him. Mm-hmm. So how did you find out that you didn't actually have insurance to actually bury him?
Well, so myself personally, when I lost my job in 2017, I lost my job. Okay. With the company I was working with. And it was no problem because I cashed my 401k. I had been with them for, so much time. I had money. And I'm saying this to say that I didn't have my benefits lined up, but I always knew his dad had life insurance on him. Mm-hmm. His dad always had insurance. So when I didn't ever have to really just, go over there and talk to him because for years, he had insurance on him. I had insurance. I always just kind of had it through my employer. But then outside of that, I have another insurance policy, but I didn't have my kids on that. It's really just like for myself. Or if anything happened to me, they're good. So, okay. When he passed away, then I don't know, maybe a couple of days later is when because the insurance thing wasn't even the last thing on my mind because I'm like, we got insurance. I ain't know until maybe the next day or so that he didn't have insurance because I knew his dad had his insurance policy, and he told me it eventually maybe had just a few months or so had lapsed, and we didn't have it covered.
Was that due to his age that it lapsed, or is
No,
this?
it's something that I don't know if he didn't make the payment. I don't know what happened, but he didn't have it.
Okay. So now, because we come from a small town, there's a bunch of chit,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, going on. So now you don't actually have the money to bury him. So are you in panic mode? What are you thinking? Are you saying like, man, I'm gonna have to go and ask family members, which is okay because this is what family for, you know what I mean, to come, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that your son has the home going that you want to have. So what was the next move?
It was just added stress to me because, okay, we didn't have the insurance, but Cornelius come from a pretty good family, a decent family, where we was able to go ahead and, have him. But it was embarrassing. It was humiliating, you know what I'm saying? Because me also at one point, I just remember myself feeling like as if I failed because that's my child and I was caught off guard. I didn't have my benefits lined up on my end. And he still probably should have been covered because, it's like I wasn't communicating with his dad to know, but we would communicate over the years. He always had it. So I didn't know nothing changed. But I went through that because I feel like that was my responsibility. Like, and I'm not the one who's just, I went through some changes with my kids where I don't like to ask for nothing.
Yeah.
If it's not me or their dad, then that's it. That's our responsibility. So me not having that coverage, of course, me being the type of person, I've always worked. I've always, had my benefits. It just did something to me. Like, how could you have, did this?
Yeah.
I felt let down because my child know that his mama got him. So this would have been something too. Like, I felt like I did. But, I went through those changes and, I don't know, people was really speaking foul on my name because of the life insurance.
Correct. So people found out about the life insurance because you had somebody that did what?
Okay, so Cornelius God mom, which I didn't know at the time, and she didn't ask me if I was out of it. But she wanted to do it just from the kindness of her heart. She wanted to do it. And because we was trying to come up with the money, but we was able to still do that. And she did a GoFundMe. And when she did it, I love her and she loved my son. So I know she didn't do it
out of malice.
No, nothing like that. She just we was trying to come together and do what we need to do. But people made it a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? People kind of like just dragged me through the mud, like because of something like that. However, people, even me, it was times that because the people kept on talking about the life insurance or the GoFundMe, and so that's all they was talking about. What about the fact that my son ain't here?
Yeah.
Y'all keep on coming at me about, and I was just start reaching out to people. If I owed anybody anything, it made me start feeling like, let me make sure, I pay them back. Not even if it's, monetary. It was different ways that I was being able to show up. I would support. If somebody's doing something, there's many of families that since my son passed away, to be honest, they didn't have insurance. But I do donate. I help.
Yeah.
I go to the family. They having the fish fries. I'm gonna serve. I'm gonna do something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something. But I donate.
What do you think of? What do you think about? Okay, how can I say this? What do you think it was about your situation that made people come in and say the stuff that they were saying as opposed to other people? Because there's millions of people that when somebody passed away, you know what I mean, they do a GoFundMe. Before, like you said, just, before technology, it used to be the fish fry, the car wash.
It was really just, my community, for one, that was so with this whole, just thing with the GoFundMe, who wanted to just make it so just like as if it was. I think it's because of the type of person I was. They knew like, okay, everybody had high expectations of me, and I felt that maybe I let them down. That's how I felt. I was trying to make it make sense. Like, how could a person be so upset with somebody else about what they have to go through?
Correct.
So I'm the type of person where I try to turn negative into positive.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I let them down, but because I've been to so many different funerals and so many other people have passed and they have insurance, and you'll never hear nobody say nothing about them. You'll never hear them say nothing about no GoFundMe. But I guess because of who I am, Maybe because it was, and I don't know. I'm no different from nobody else who lose a family member and got to bury him. And people have, I think the GoFundMe was about 4,000. I don't even think it was 4,000. It was like 3,000 and some 3,700. But people have had hundreds and thousands of dollars, 50,000, hundreds of thousands that I know from GoFundMe who have helped them. And that was the thing I didn't understand. Like, what did I do? Why?
Yeah.
Can you tell me why?
I don't know, sis.
I think it's just because of who I am and who I'm connected to. Not only that, because who my kid's father is or who his dad was, who his dad is. People had so much high expectations on us and we was caught off guard.
So they almost like they felt like you guys didn't need our help because like I said, we didn't have this conversation before, you know what I mean? Because when Smooth transitioned, it was like consider the fact that, you're a rapper, your father is a pastor, he lived like this, he drive like this. Man, if a GoFundMe would have went up for Smooth,
man, they would have been talking and dragging y'all.
Man,
that's what I'm talking about. Seriously, that's what it is. It's who you are. It's because of who it is. But people help a complete stranger, somebody they don't even know, and feel good about it before helping somebody who they know
and say that they love.
Yes.
Yeah. So you mentioned before, you know what I mean, about your other kids, your other sons. You talked about how this has affected you. How do you think it's affected them? Like, what do you see, you know what I mean, in your sons that this did to them?
I see major changes in them. I had, high expectations like, college and just different things, but they still have it in them and I'm just going to pull it out of them. You know what I'm saying? I lost my brother too. So it makes me always go into that, trying to put myself in their shoes, what they're going through. So I can relate to them, how they feeling. But as long as they have somebody just still like pushing them and like how I am with them, I drag, I talk to them, I encourage them because it is a process. And you can't tell a person how to grieve or when to stop grieving. I'm trying to be a role model for them. Them seeing, okay, mom is still going, my mom is still trying to, push. Because death, one thing about death, we all gotta die. Everybody gonna die.
Right.
And there's no manual to it, but you have to be able to show these kids, to show your family things or ways, what to do, because it can happen to anybody. Be anybody. And you gotta know how to keep going, and you have to keep going. So it was something that came to me. It was just like, you gotta be an inspiration to your family.
Yeah.
My mom and dad, that's their first grandchild. So, the sadness and stuff like that, it made me kind of hold it back around, my family and just different ones, because I just wanted to be able to inspire them instead of just, damper their moods and stuff like that. But just to be more of a leader with them, you know what I'm saying? Help guide them.
So
my kids.
What are things, because like I said, you mentioned before, just sometimes, it seems like you're good. Other times, you go through the ebbs and flow of emotion. What are things that you do to help put you back in that mental state of, like you say, I have to push forward, I got to keep going on?
Music, gospel music, you know what I'm saying? I'll play me my gospel, and if I'm in the house, I'm cleaning, just doing anything, I have my music on and stuff like that. Not only that, I'm a part of an organization called Compassionate Friends, and with Compassionate Friends, it's a organization with nothing but women who have lost a child, or a loved one, nothing but women. So when I say that they helped me, because it was times that is one of the mothers, she checked on me like I'm her child. But I was able to get connected to women who really understood me for who I was, and not just thinking that, it's just, a person just grieving, things like that, the rudeness. They want to talk to you. They want to hear about Cornelius. They ask me questions about Cornelius. They want me to open up and stuff. So that helped me along the way. So I have, one of the mothers, me and her, we're pretty close. Like, we'll go out, maybe eat and just talk about things. So she'll invite me over and we'll sometimes cry together, get it on out, because everybody's not going to understand it. You can't be like this around everybody. So
do you feel like it's easier for you to have these type of conversations with a stranger as opposed to a family member?
I would say that.
How come?
Well, not just a stranger, but someone who can relate.
Okay.
Just another mother.
Okay.
Another mother
that
who has lost a child
Correct.
is going to understand me more.
Yeah.
And I'm going to understand her as well.
Yeah.
So just opening up and speaking to those type of people is the ones that I really like.
Yeah.
But just, family, we're going to still show love, Cornelius, and things like that. But when I'm with other mothers who can relate, it kind of just makes me warm. Instead of feeling they're gonna understand me. So
correct. No, I get it because I mean I was always that person who always went to funerals, always showed up to support people when somebody passed away. But man, when I went through that tragedy, it
your
just
brother,
it totally like changed and shaped my perspective. I can't do those things the way that I used to be able to do them. You know what I mean? And it's like some people look at it as being, they use the word selfish or whatnot, but it's like anytime a couple of months after smooth transition, my best friend, they found her nephew unresponsive. And when she made that phone call, you know what I'm saying, to me, and I heard that, you know what I mean? Because first she sent me a text message, and in the text message, I'm just like, I'm not really understanding what's going on. And so then when she called me, it automatically took me back to when I made that phone call to her. So it's like I'm hearing her, but it's like I'm hearing myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I tell people like I just move differently now because I have an understanding, and you don't want to have that understanding, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know what I mean? It puts me back in that place. And so I'm not able to go to people's services like how I was before. Like I can be there for the individual, you know what I mean? But it just puts me back in that emotional state, you know what I mean? That I'm not even healed from yet.
Right.
So
exactly.
do you feel like, because we grow up in the church, and a lot of times in the church, you just hear people just, I'm gonna just go to Jesus, this, that, and the third. Do you think, we need to get to a point to where we begin to go to counseling and things of that nature, because we got a lot of traumas that we're dealing with. You know what I mean?
You know what? That's funny that you say that, because it's been 11 years for my brother. It'll be 11 years in October. I haven't went to no counseling for him or Cornelius.
Yeah, we're going to counseling.
But listen,
we're going to counseling.
No, but listen. So, and it's something else that I did leave out. I will have me a drink. I have me a drink. At first, when Cornelius first passed away, I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat anything. I would have me a drink.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that was something as well. I would drink. But now, I listen to my music and stuff, and it kind of helps soothe me and stuff like that. But the counseling, I do agree with that. There should be some counseling at this point, because I don't know if it probably would have helped me deal with things, that I've already just been. So I've just recently said that I need to go have counseling.
Yeah, I know.
Especially after this last incident that just happened.
Yeah.
It almost took me. I was like,
you was at a breaking point.
Yes. And I'm like, I think I need to go get just to kind of see what they're going to talk about. And then if it helps me, I'll keep going if I feel that. But if not, because I've always just felt like, because for real, I'm spiritual. My mom, we're going to pray. We're there. You're going to go to that altar, you're going to get you some prayer.
Yeah.
To help you heal.
Yeah, but
that's what I depended on.
Correct.
I needed those prayers. I would call my spiritual mom and say, can you please just pray for me right now? She's going to pray.
Correct.
Call my mama if I need somebody to talk to. She going to listen. She understand me. She lost her son. Yeah. My brother. So we going to pray.
Yeah. See, I think that's a maturation that we have to get to as a community, because even growing up, we knew people, they say, oh, such and such crazy. And we just hear the word crazy and just think nothing of it, not realizing that this person really has a chemical imbalance.
Yes.
They need to take pills. They need to take medicine. So I think for so long, we have normalized things that's not normal. It's not normal, you know what I mean, to have your child murder and think that you're going to be able to just function as if this didn't happen. You know what I mean? Because when Smooth transitioned, it was during COVID. So of course, during COVID, you know what I mean?
You was able to stay inside anyway.
Yeah, stay inside, you know what I mean? And I'm a loner, you know what I mean, as it is. I don't, drink, smoke, but you find other ways, you know what I'm saying, to kind of mask, you know what I mean, your issue, because it's like it's on your mind. So I've actually began, because I've been saying for a minute, like, man, I need to go to counseling. And this was about stuff that happened before Smooth.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like now I've actually, but I prefer group. I don't want to do the one-on-one yet. Like I want to be in that group setting, you know what I mean, with other people. So I've actually began to look for that group setting, because I know, you know, I know I'm different.
Well, maybe
you know?
my compassionate friends group is my
is your counseling? Okay. What? Yeah.
Because that's the setting we all sit to.
Okay.
It's sit in a circle and it's a group of us.
Yeah.
So I have been having counseling. That's why I said it was something that helped me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna reach out to her and let her know.
Yeah.
That I feel that it was a part of, you know, my healing.
This is the, I guess, the billion-dollar question, because of the neighborhood that we come from. We come from a small neighborhood, you know what I mean? And it's a reckless environment with a lot of stuff that's going on. Do you think that there could be, I don't know if I want to use the word sit down, but do you think that this could possibly come to an end? Or do you think that?
I think it can.
Okay.
Yep. I really do have faith and believe that one day everything is gonna be better. Mm-hmm.
You got more faith.
It's just
than
people got to grow up. You know what I'm saying? These kids got to grow up. And the ones that's young, older right now, I'm gonna say maybe, you know, the age group from 15 to 25. That age group right there need to realize you got the ones that's 10 to 15 watching y'all. Y'all got to be better leaders. But until then, I just feel that with this last incident that happened, we're not, the adults have to step up. You know, and I don't understand how I can get any malice behind what I had to do, because my son is dead. He at the cemetery, he didn't bother nobody. There should never have been nobody going out there to disrespect him. Yeah. And of course, as his mother, I'm not going to just brush it off, sweep it under the rug. No, the adults. And when I say we got to do better, we need to come together instead of it being too much, you know what I'm saying, division, like pointing fingers and stuff like that. Me, I'm the type of, you know, I'm getting better, but I really do. I feel that I'm approachable. You know what I'm saying? Even if you can't approach me, you can call me and we can talk about it or something. We need to communicate more and show these kids that the parents are together. Correct. Instead of us being, you know, okay, all separated and scattered and over here and going along with the kids. Instead of being led by the kids, the parents actually need to take the lead and show that there are ways that you can actually diffuse situations or have conversations, even though you may disagree with each other, you know what I mean, to where it doesn't end to where we go into somebody's funeral. Exactly. Because it needs to stop. It got to stop. Nobody's not, you know, the adults. We're the adults. These kids are not going to just take over our territory. What do you think is going to take in order for something like that to happen? Put the fort down. Hold it down. We're going to hold the fort down. We got to, I'm talking about as the adults. Yeah. We have to be just more disciplined with these kids and let them know what's right and what's wrong. And a lot of times, you know, the parents, we are doing and getting on our kids and, you know, just getting on them, explaining to them, making sure they're aware and stuff like that. However, it takes for these kids to learn. They got to learn from their mistakes. You know, you make a mistake, you learn from it, and you don't keep on doing it. You don't keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again. I don't know if that makes any sense. It makes sense. Because you ain't got no 20-some-year-old. Me and mine is up there, and I tell you, it's almost just like once they're a certain age. Yeah, but these mistakes, because like I said, I looked it up. Desecration of a grave, removal, that's up to 10 years. Listen. And you did it with 2. Right. So that's possibly 20 years. Then, you know what I mean, there was guns involved. Yeah. Man, you know, in the state of Florida, I think it's up to 5-10 years for every gunshot. Oh, wow. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So I could be off, you know what I mean? But they broke into the cemetery. You know what I mean? So like, man, you know how many, like, that's 50 years. Yes, it's a lot. So it's certain mistakes that can put you in the grave or put you in the grave where you're alive. That's called prison, and you never get out again. So it's like certain mistakes, man. I remember the old heads used to tell me, man, it's just certain mistakes you don't want to learn. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to learn on your own. Just don't do. You want to look at other people and say,
I'm gonna learn from what you did by not doing it.
This made history. So that's not even nobody that I know that, if anything, it could have been 100 some years ago, slavery days or something, or I don't know. However, even just me speaking to older people in their 80s and 70s, they've been calling me. Never heard of it a day in their life. Never heard of nothing like this happening. That shouldn't have never happened whatsoever. So going forward, just with this situation, other things that's happening need to stop.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I'm the one that's getting all the beating behind this. Why am I going through this? Why I gotta be me? Why is this happening? But I had to figure that maybe it's just a purpose and anointing or something that's on me that God, I don't know. It's not just me because there's other mothers as well, like
Correct.
Monica and then another mother, Mary, her kid, their kids' headstone were vandalized as well. So I don't know why this is happening, but it's happening and we got to just stand for it and move forward with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So definitely before we get out of here, you showed me something. What happened? Because we communicate. Because when like I said, we've been. You was like, Reggie, I'm ready to sit down and talk about this. And I'm like, you sure, Quita? But
this is before this. That's what I'm incident saying. That just happened. Yeah. This was a few weeks ago, and now this week has been hell for me.
I get a text message from T.O. I click on it. Oh my! So I was like, I was gonna text you the next day. Well, Quita, I know you're going through it. Let's not even do this right now. And you was like, nah, Reggie, we need to go ahead and really talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So in the midst of that, you know what I mean? Something happened. What happened?
Okay, so that's why I say this is for me. It's for me because I've been running for maybe about 2 years, right? Yeah. 2 or 3 years, right? Yeah. I have somebody who has been on me. She's been wanting me to. So she inspired me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I've been taking a course where I can become a licensed life insurance agent because I just felt that I can relate. Mm-hmm. I have a unique story that I need to get out there and educate, other families so that they won't have to endure, something like that. It happens and things, but I have a lot more other goals, along with the life insurance. So I was pushing myself. My goal was to have my course completed by Cornelius' birthday, September 3rd, last Sunday, right? Okay. So Saturday, September 2nd, I was trying to take my final exam. Yeah. The whole week was so weird to me. The whole week. Let me tell you, the whole week, I don't know what, the whole week was so weird. So this day, I'm at the computer taking my final exam, and it kicked me out. So I thought, because I thought it was going to let me resume and let me start back off where I left at, get back in, and I was like 75% completed with my final. Okay. Kick me out. Now, I'm feeling frustrated because my phone keep ringing. My mama, my niece, they keep calling me, right? Yeah. So, okay. Eventually, I go ahead and I talk to them, but I'm really just already a little just upset because the system started me over. Yeah. All the way over. And my goal was to have it completed. Yeah. And it has a timer on it. So I was almost finished. But anyways, I get the phone call. They at the graveyard. Because my niece was home visiting from New York. And she wanted to see my brother, which is her dad. Mm-hmm. So they at the cemetery. And I started getting the phone calls and pictures and videos. My son headstone is shot up, or the whole grave was shot up from the top to the bottom. Damn. That was devastating. But let me tell you something. This has been going on. Something had been already going on at that graveyard way prior, months ago. Yeah. Because there have been times that I went there, like a week before Saturday, which was the 27th of August, I was there. Or the 24th, it was that Sunday before his birthday. I was there. I don't know. I was so emotional. And I went on to the graveyard. It's about 12:30, 1 o'clock. And it wasn't raining and then I'm looking around like, why is it wet? Mm-hmm. The mulch and all of that kind of stuff was still wet and I'm thinking like, wait, maybe somebody came out here. You know how the little gangster lean, they probably done pulled some liquor or something. Because I could see the brown stains on his headstone. Yeah. But I always sit down. And I sat in the pee. It was all over my hands.
Wow.
It was so strong. It was so stink. So that happened Saturday. I mean, that happened the week before, which was so, I didn't tell nobody. I didn't tell nobody.
Yeah.
But I was crying. I was so upset. I was like, I was puzzled. Like, what is going on? Nobody ain't telling me nothing. Nobody ain't called me and say, okay, we finna have something at the graveyard. His friends, nobody's told me nothing.
Yeah.
So I ain't say nothing. That was the Sunday before. Then Saturday is when I got the call about the grave being shot up.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, okay, I don't know who this is, but they've been already out here. Prior to me going and I found the urine, before that, I would say it was in July I was there, and I could tell somebody came and I was like, really just feeling like I was confused because I didn't know what to think because it looked vandalized, like all the flowers and stuff was thrown everywhere.
Yeah.
And then not only that, there was a candle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never do. There was a candle, and it was burned all the way down to the end. It was burned up, and I felt weird just touching it, but it's right there. His headstone right here, and it's right there, and it burned all the way down. And it looked like it had rocks around it, like they had did something. Now that took me too. So all of these
events are transpiring like back to back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this Saturday, I'm taking my exam and I get kicked out and I get the phone call. So back to my exam, my final. All week long, I've been avoiding to even get back in. But I had a deadline. And
I sent you a text message. I sent a text message.
Yeah. I had a deadline. I had got so discouraged, and this has happened before with the same course. Yeah. Where I just be like, okay, I just have to pay for it over again. I just have to do it again. Mm-hmm. And I got discouraged, like as if it wasn't, for me.
Okay.
I got discouraged. Yeah. So this is something else that happened. So Friday night, I got in trying to get back into it and couldn't get in. So I thought that after midnight it was going to expire because I thought Friday was my last day. So when I got back in, when I tried to get back in, it was like 4 a.m. because I wasn't sleeping. I was crying. I was just so like, how did I let this happen again? Just disappointed with myself. So let me try. I got in 4 a.m. So I'm like, if this thing come back up, I'm gonna go to the library and I'm gonna, try to take it really fast. Get it on open as soon as they open, so they won't lock me out. And that's what I did. But I had some issues because when I tried to log into the computer at the library, it said I had too many attempts and it locked me out.
Wow.
So I had to reset my password. I had to call IT and go through all of that crazy stuff to get my password reset. And then I took my final. And guess what?
What's up?
Guess what? I am officially a life insurance agent. I sell life insurance policies. Yeah. Let me sell y'all these life insurance policies. I get you $30. You can get life insurance $30 a month for your children, maybe $10 a month, $10 a month. So yeah, yes. But here we go. Go to my files. Life insurance certificate. What I say? Department.
Show the camera. Go ahead and show the camera.
My social on here.
Oh, your social now. Okay. Department of Financial Services. I see it. Division of Agency and Agency Services, Bureau of Licensing. All right.
Tallahassee, Florida. What they say?
It came from the state capital.
You see that? You see
Certificate of completion. That's what it is. Congratulations,
that's
man.
My social right there.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, this I know this has been a journey.
Yes, it has, man. Been a journey. I'm like, so now I'm like, Lord Jesus, whatever you got me here for, whatever my purpose is, I feel like this is something that's for me.
So do you feel like, what you went through with your son, with the whole life insurance thing, do you feel like this put you on that journey to be able to help other families, parents, mothers, fathers, from being in these same situations?
Yes. I got some stuff behind this that I'm going to do because I want to have an awareness and just do different things. Also to give back to the community and stuff like that as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm gonna work with you, but I'm rough because I can say,
come on now,
sis, I'm rough because we had this conversation before, and like I said, we all come into situations because nobody never think that their child is going to pass away, especially if their child isn't sick. You know what I mean? So something like this, you know what I mean, is unbeknown to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, like I told you before, sis, unfortunately, the things that we choose to do with our money, we then think that we can go to the internet from a GoFundMe perspective, you know what I mean, and think that your emergency should
But you
become
get some
mine.
people that's really just caught off guard.
Yeah.
And I think that just from it's either you gonna donate or you not gonna donate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're gonna donate, don't be upset if you're gonna donate.
Correct.
You know, if it's something that somebody's really going through.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Like me, I want to put that word out there, that awareness out there, so that because I was humiliated. You know, they humiliated me. People tried to sabotage my name, like as if I wasn't a good parent and things. When really, if people that really really knew me wasn't standing for it. You can't just talk about me to know anybody. But people just was trying, and it didn't work. But you know, I was caught off guard, and literally, really having a hard time, caught off guard. It's life. Yeah. If you haven't had any hard times in life, one day you're gonna have some.
What they say, often say, just keep living.
Yes, keep living. That's my favorite. That's what I always tell them. Just keep living, baby. Keep living.
So how can people get in contact with you so they can start setting up, you know what I mean, policies? So, you know, because unfortunately in our community, and when I say our community, I'm talking about the Black community, we don't like to talk about death as if it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? So we actually need to be prepared. You know what I mean? So we not caught off guard. So how can people get in contact with you? You know what I mean? So you can set up their policies. So when that day does come, not only will they have money to, because I think that's the part we don't focus on enough. We don't focus on the fact that this person needs to be buried, but we also have bills that continue to come.
Right.
And we need
you want to
money.
have money for at least 6 months after you lose somebody, because that'll give you a 6-month period to kind of really grieve and get yourself together. And I don't think a lot of people do that. You know, because they don't use take the whole 6 months.
Correct.
You may just need 1 month. You may just need to go back to work or whatever you have to do. But 6 months.
So how can people get in contact with you?
I would say social media. Everybody can get in contact with me.
What is it?
Tequila Cook.
Okay.
On Facebook, on IG. Check me out on the gram. Tequila Denise. Carnelius mom. Everybody already probably, a lot of people already know me, but definitely I have those services available, and it'll be a lot more coming, a lot more services as well.
All right, cool, man. I appreciate you. We've been trying to do this for a minute. You know what I mean? We finally got it.
Thank you as well.
Definitely, you know what I mean? So thank everybody for tuning in to Touchy Topics.
Thank you guys so much. I hope Touchy Topics today, I know that it was definitely touchy, because that was touchy for me. Yeah. But thank you.
I had to pause a couple of times just to keep from, sharing tears. But, Touchy Topics is a place where we talk about touchy topics, things that pierce your soul in order to help and grow your mind. Also, y'all check out our other channel, Mr. 800 Credit Repair, where we talk about money. Okay. Tune in next time, y'all. Y'all take care.
On Thursday, April the 11th, a little after 9:00 p.m., Quita received another earth-shattering call. Literally 5.5 years after the death of her firstborn son, Cornelius, her twin son called and said, "Mom, my brother isn't breathing." Quita was finally in a good place mentally. She now has to endure the pain that a mother should never endure, especially for a second time, due to senseless gun violence. How many moms have to bury their sons? How many kids have to grow up with no fathers? When will it stop? When will it end? Let's continue to send our love and prayers to Quita and her family. Rest easy, nephew. We love you until we see you again.
Been through it all, but we up. We done been through it all, but we here, man. Been through it all, but we up. We done been through it all, but we here, man.